Prologue. In the unforgiving void of the 31st millennium, as the galaxy is torn asunder by the Horus heresy, legends are born not only on battlefields, but in the murky shadows of loyalty and betrayal. Among these legends are the Knights-Errant, a group of fiercely loyal Astartes who, amidst the chaos of the heresy, forsake their legions and venture on a path neither wholly imperial nor heretical. Instead, these warriors serve a purpose higher than any single primarch or faction, answering only to one enigmatic figure, the Sigillite himself, Malcador. In a time when brother fights against brother and gods whisper insidiously in the minds of the brave, the Knights-Errant emerge as a force of elite operatives, loyal only to the Emperor and the preservation of humanity. They are a unique assembly, made up of Marines drawn from both loyalist and traitor legions, a blend that defies the era's dichotomy of loyalty and betrayal. These Astartes, who have willingly broken the oaths to their legions, unite under Malcador's guidance, undertaking clandestine missions of paramount importance, often deep within enemy territory or on worlds besieged by chaos. The origins and operations of the Knights-Errant are steeped in secrecy. Their mere existence is known only to the highest echelons of Imperial command, concealed even from most loyalist forces. Operating from hidden strongholds and using advanced weaponry and tactics unlike those of any standard legion, they carry out tasks that even the Emperor's other forces cannot achieve. From covert assassinations to gathering intelligence and thwarting chaos rituals, the Knights-Errant are the sword in the shadows, striking precisely where they are needed most to curb the tide of chaos. This prologue marks the beginning of their story, a saga of brotherhood, sacrifice, and battles fought in the darkest corners of the Imperium. As we explore the narrative of the Knights-Errant, we will uncover how they shaped the course of the heresy, examining their rise from obscure origins to legendary status in Imperial lore. The galaxy's future hinges on their actions, for as the Horus heresy escalates, it becomes clear that the fate of the Emperor's vision may rest as much on these shadowy warriors as on the legions waging open war. In the chapters that follow, we delve into the key players, the events that set their journey in motion, and the tactics that make the Knights-Errant a unique force in a universe engulfed by war. The Knights-Errant are not bound by the same rigid structures and expectations as the legions from which they hail. Unlike their former comrades, each member of the Knights-Errant brings a unique combination of skills, weapons, and combat philosophies, creating a versatile and unpredictable force. Their loyalty is not to their former primarchs, but to a cause greater than any single leader or legion. This allegiance to the Emperor and their willful separation from their original brotherhoods positions the Knights-Errant as warriors of singular purpose, guided by Malcador, yet empowered to operate independently. Here, their strength lies not in numbers or firepower, but in agility, intelligence, and an unbreakable commitment to their mission. At the heart of this organization stands Malcador the Sigillite, the Emperor's most trusted advisor and a master strategist with unrivaled psychic abilities. Malcador is the architect of the Knights-Errant, handpicking each member with care and binding them with vows forged in secrecy. Under his watchful eye, the Knights-Errant move silently, employing stealth and precision to strike where they are least expected. Malcador is not only their mentor, but also their shield against the watchful eyes of the Inquisition and the traitor legions alike. His knowledge of forbidden lore, combined with his unwavering loyalty to the Emperor, allows him to see threats beyond the material world, threats that only the Knights-Errant can combat. As Malcador's influence brings more warriors into the fold, his handpicks are far from random. Each Knight-Errant is chosen for both their skills and their personal qualities, qualities that set them apart from ordinary Astartes. For instance, some possess unparalleled knowledge of chaos, gained from their time within traitor legions. Others bring expertise in arcane technology or psychic prowess. Some excel in infiltration and deception, while others can hold their ground against overwhelming forces. This broad range of specialties makes the Knights-Errant not only flexible, but also nearly impossible to predict or counter. Among these warriors is Garviel Loken, the former captain of the Luna Wolves and once a loyal follower of Horus. Loken's unwavering sense of justice and loyalty to the Emperor make him a natural fit for the Knights-Errant, though his journey is not an easy one. Stripped of his former rank and identity, Loken grapples with the psychological weight of betrayal and the haunting memories of his fallen comrades. Yet, his resilience becomes a beacon for others, inspiring those who join him in the fight for a better future. As one of the first members of the Knights-Errant, Loken's journey sets the tone for the brotherhood that follows. In contrast to Loken's stoic resolve stands Nathaniel Garrow, former battle captain of the Death Guard, a warrior whose faith drives him as much as his skill in battle. Garrow's path to the Knights-Errant is marked by divine visions and revelations, making him both a fierce fighter and a spiritual figure among the ranks. His loyalty to the Emperor is absolute, and his faith in the divine mission of the Knights-Errant adds a unique layer to their operations. Garrow's unwavering moral compass and spiritual insight often steer the group through the darkness, providing a moral clarity that keeps them grounded in the Emperor's light. Then there is Tylos Rubio, a former librarian of the Ultramarines, whose psychic abilities are both a boon and a curse. Rubio, with his rare psychic talents, embodies the duality of the Knights-Errant's mission, to embrace power, yet remain vigilant against its corrupting influence. Trained in the art of psychic warfare, Rubio is tasked with countering the sorceries of chaos and defending his comrades from its insidious grasp. His skills make him a valuable asset, yet his inner conflict reflects the caution with which the Knights-Errant wield such powers. Rubio's presence in the ranks also signals Malcador's acceptance of diverse approaches, embracing those who might otherwise be ostracized by the Imperium. Beyond these prominent figures, the Knights-Errant include warriors from many legions, each contributing their own combat philosophies, specialized weapons, and survival instincts. Their brotherhood is as diverse as it is formidable, a testament to Malcador's vision of a force unfettered by the chains of tradition. The fusion of tactical prowess, psychic strength, and adaptability within the Knights-Errant makes them an unprecedented force, one that neither Chaos nor the Imperium can easily anticipate. This unity in diversity is precisely what makes the Knights-Errant so dangerous to their enemies. Each mission sees them adapting their approach based on the unique skills of their members. They are not bound by the rigid battle doctrines of their former legions, allowing them to strike with a level of unpredictability that is both effective and unsettling. In battle, the Knights-Errant embody the concept of asymmetrical warfare, using their individuality as a strength to dismantle even the most fortified defenses. And when operating in the shadows, they blend their talents to sow confusion and disrupt the plans of their enemies. With each Knight-Errant operating at the peak of their abilities, Malcador's creation becomes more than the sum of its parts. The warriors he selects are more than just Astartes. They are symbols of resistance against the seduction of chaos, each one embodying a willingness to sacrifice everything for a vision greater than themselves. The foundation of the Knights-Errant lies in the turmoil and shifting allegiances that sweep across the galaxy during the Horus heresy. The chaos of this era shatters the previously indomitable unity of the Imperium, with the Emperor's legions dividing between those who remain loyal and those seduced by the promises of chaos. However, not all Astartes are content to follow their legion's trajectory. For some, the horrors of betrayal and the corruption that spreads like wildfire become too much to bear. These individuals, questioning their purpose and allegiance, become natural candidates for the Knights-Errant. The origins of this group can be traced back to the early days of the heresy, when whispers of dissent and uncertainty began to infiltrate even the most devoted of warriors. As loyalty fractures and doubt begins to overshadow duty, some Astartes start to question the very essence of their purpose. For many, the unshakable trust they had once placed in their Primarchs and battle brothers begins to crumble. This transformation is not instantaneous, but develops over a series of harrowing events, personal moments of clarity, horrors witnessed, and betrayals endured. These pivotal experiences lead certain warriors to reconsider the unbreakable oaths they once swore. The first Knights-Errant do not emerge as an organized force, but rather as a loose collective of outcasts. Each one is a soul searching for meaning in a galaxy descending into madness. Initially, these warriors wander aimlessly, unsure of where their loyalty lies. They are united only by a shared desire to escape the chains of their past and to find a purpose free from the influence of the legions and the tyrannical forces consuming them. For these lost warriors, the ideals of the Imperium and their sense of duty to humanity burn brighter than any oath to a Primarch or legion, guiding them toward the hope of a higher calling. At this stage, Malcador the Sigillite, the Emperor's confidant and trusted advisor, identifies the importance of such warriors. The Sigillite, who has been observing the galaxy's descent into chaos, sees an opportunity in these Astartes who refuse to fall into line with their former brothers or surrender to the darkness. Recognizing their potential, Malcador begins to reach out to them, offering a path that aligns neither with the loyalist legions nor with the traitor forces. His invitation is subtle and cryptic, designed to attract only those with the strength to break free from their former allegiances. Slowly, he molds these warriors into a force that transcends their fractured origins. Under Malcador's guidance, the Knights-Errant are given new names, stripping them of their former identities and connections to their legions. This ritual is not merely symbolic, it is a transformative act that allows each member to redefine their identity on their own terms. Freed from their pasts, these warriors are reborn with a new mission, a purpose that overrides all previous loyalties. The abandonment of their former identities is an act of liberation, severing them from the oaths that once defined their existence and allowing them to serve a higher purpose. The initiation process of a Knight-Errant is shrouded in mystery, an ordeal that combines both physical and psychological trials. These initiates are tested in ways that go beyond mere combat prowess. They must confront their own fears, regrets, and doubts. They are forced to relive the choices that led them to forsake their legion and to confront the inner demons that could otherwise compromise their loyalty to the Knights-Errant. Malcador's methods are as much spiritual as they are pragmatic, ensuring that only those who can truly let go of their past are granted a place within this secretive brotherhood. Those who survive this initiation emerge with a renewed sense of purpose, having transcended the emotional chains that once bound them to their former allegiances. With each passing year, the Knights-Errant grow in strength and number, becoming a clandestine force that operates in the shadows of the Imperium. They are not beholden to any one battlefront or campaign. Instead, they move according to the shifting tides of the heresy, striking where they are most needed. Their allegiance to Malcador and the Emperor above all else makes them a rare breed, one of the few forces in the galaxy capable of acting independently of the Legion hierarchy. This autonomy allows them to operate with an agility and secrecy that larger armies cannot afford, making them the perfect weapon against the insidious forces of chaos. As the Knights-Errant begin to carry out missions in the Emperor's name, they develop their own distinct methods and traditions. No longer bound by the doctrines of their former legions, they innovate new strategies and tactics, blending combat techniques from various origins into a unique and formidable style. Their knowledge of both loyalist and traitor tactics gives them an edge in battle, as they anticipate their enemies' moves with uncanny accuracy. This versatility becomes a hallmark of the Knights-Errant, allowing them to adapt to the unique challenges they face in the ever-changing landscape of the heresy. Though they have abandoned their past identities, the Knights-Errant retain the skills and knowledge they acquired in their former lives. Some are masters of stealth and assassination, moving unseen through the darkness to eliminate key targets. Others are experts in psychic warfare, using their powers to shield their comrades from the temptations of chaos or to disrupt enemy sorceries. Each Knight-Errant brings a unique set of skills to the group, creating a diverse force that can tackle a wide array of challenges. Their combined talents enable them to operate with a level of efficiency that few can match, striking with the precision and impact of a finely honed blade. Yet, despite their formidable abilities, the Knights-Errant are constantly tested, not only by their enemies, but by the psychological toll of their mission. The path they have chosen is one of endless sacrifice and isolation, a lonely existence on the fringes of the Imperium. Their commitment to a cause that few can comprehend leaves them estranged from the bonds of brotherhood that once defined them. For many Knights-Errant, the greatest battle is not fought with blade or bolter, but within their own minds, as they struggle to maintain their faith in the Emperor's vision amidst the horrors of the heresy. The formation and early missions of the Knights-Errant reveal a darker side to the war for humanity's survival, a war waged in the shadows, away from the epic battles that define the heresy. As their numbers grow, so too does their significance in the Emperor's grand design. Though few know of their existence, the Knights-Errant become a vital component of the Imperium's survival strategy, an unseen force capable of accomplishing feats that conventional armies cannot. In a galaxy teetering on the edge of ruin, they are a reminder that sometimes the fate of billions rests on the shoulders of a select few, unseen and unsung, who dare to defy the darkness. As the Horus heresy unfolds, the Knights-Errant find themselves entrusted with missions that are as dangerous as they are crucial, each one a step in the ongoing struggle for the soul of the Imperium. Operating in small, specialized teams, they infiltrate war-torn worlds, venture into the depths of traitor-held space, and uncover secrets buried beneath the rubble of a galaxy at war. These missions often involve penetrating heavily fortified locations or shadowing enemy forces undetected, a testament to the unparalleled skill and discipline of each Knight-Errant. One of the earliest missions to test their mettle is the retrieval of a powerful artifact hidden within the ruins of a long-forgotten Imperial facility. This relic, if recovered, could help turn the tide in a conflict on a vital world, where the forces of chaos have unleashed powerful warp-spawned entities against the beleaguered defenders. To accomplish this, the Knights-Errant must navigate a treacherous landscape infested with demonic forces, employing stealth and deception to avoid open conflict. Their success depends not only on their combat skills, but also on their ability to resist the corrupting influence of chaos itself, for the artifact is rumored to be cursed with the very powers it can counteract. Guided by Malcador's psychic foresight and intelligence, the Knights-Errant move with purpose, blending into the shadows and emerging only when the opportune moment arises. They strike decisively, breaking through enemy lines with precision, securing the artifact, and escaping before their presence is fully detected. The mission is successful, but not without cost. Each Knight-Errant is forced to confront their inner fears and doubts as the demons attempt to infiltrate their minds. The battle within is as taxing as the battle without, forging a deeper bond among the group as they emerge with a renewed sense of purpose and unity. In another engagement, the Knights-Errant are dispatched to a fortress world overrun by chaos forces. Intelligence reports indicate that a corrupted sorcerer is using the planet as a staging ground to summon warp entities and establish a foothold for chaos incursions into Imperial territory. This mission demands a more aggressive approach, as the Knights-Errant must eliminate the sorcerer and destroy the ritual sites fueling the demonic presence. Entering the fortress under the cover of night, they navigate the twisted corridors and battle hordes of chaos cultists who have pledged their souls to dark gods. The challenge is immense. With each step, the fortress shifts under the influence of the warp, doors leading to dead ends and corridors looping back upon themselves as if the structure itself resists their intrusion. The Knights-Errant, however, adapt quickly, using their unique strengths to counter these obstacles. With the precise skill of a Vindicare assassin and the psychic resilience of a trained Psyker, they push through, locating and dismantling the warp, summoning rituals, severing the sorcerer's connection to the Imperium. The sorcerer's defeat collapses the barrier, keeping the warp energies in check, causing the fortress to implode in a surge of chaotic energy. The Knights-Errant narrowly escape, leaving behind a smoldering ruin and halting a potential invasion before it could begin. Not every mission requires direct confrontation with chaos or its servants. In some cases, the Knights-Errant must operate as silent observers, gathering intelligence and assessing potential threats without engaging. On one such mission, they are sent to an imperial world on the verge of falling to corruption. The planetary governor, suspected of treason, has maintained an unusual alliance with forces believed to be sympathizers of the War Master Horus. Their objective is to assess the threat, collect evidence of disloyalty, and, if necessary, eliminate the governor to prevent the planet's fall. This mission requires diplomacy and guile rather than overt strength. The Knights-Errant assume various disguises, blending in with the local populace, infiltrating the governor's palace, and subtly gathering information on his dealings. Through careful observation, they uncover a network of hidden agents operating within the governor's court, all working to undermine the imperial cause. Rather than execute an open assault, the Knights-Errant employ sabotage and deception to destabilize the network from within. They orchestrate a series of covert incidents that reveal the governor's treachery to his own allies, sowing mistrust and turning his closest supporters against him. By the time they depart, the governor's rule has crumbled, and the planet remains in imperial hands without a single open battle. Yet, for all their successes, there are missions where the Knights-Errant find themselves tested beyond the limits of even their formidable abilities. On a desolate moon, orbiting a distant star, they are sent to investigate a series of mysterious disappearances among Imperial personnel. What they uncover is a twisted experiment carried out by a faction of traitor Astartes, seeking to unlock forbidden powers through the ritual sacrifice of human captives. The Knights-Errant's objective is simple: eliminate the heretics, destroy their experimental facility, and prevent any knowledge of their work from spreading. This mission demands not only tactical precision, but an unwavering resolve, as the Knights-Errant face horrors that defy the natural laws of reality. Within the confines of the facility, they confront creatures mutated by warp energy, human bodies twisted into monstrous forms, and machinery designed to harness the powers of the Imperium. The scenes of torment and experimentation shake even the most stalwart of them, a stark reminder of the lengths to which chaos will go to achieve its ends. Despite the psychological toll, the Knights-Errant press on, dismantling the facility piece by piece and purging every trace of the dark knowledge within. The mission's completion is a hollow victory. Though they succeed in their task, the experience leaves a lasting impact on each member, deepening the scars they carry from their time in the Knights-Errant. Each mission the Knights-Errant undertake pushes them further from the lives they once knew, transforming them from warriors of the Emperor into something new, an elite cadre willing to sacrifice their very souls if it means safeguarding humanity. Their operations are conducted in silence, their victories uncelebrated, and their losses unacknowledged. The secrecy of their existence ensures that they remain little more than myths, whispered legends even among the highest echelons of the Imperium. To the unknowing eye, they are no different from the specters of the past, shadows that emerge only to disappear once their task is complete. For the Knights-Errant, these missions are more than just battles. They are tests of faith and loyalty, a constant struggle against the seductive power of chaos that tempts even the strongest of wills. In the face of despair, they find solace in their brotherhood, each mission binding them closer together as they navigate a universe growing darker by the day. And while the galaxy may never know their names or the depth of their sacrifices, the Knights-Errant carry out their duty with unwavering resolve, knowing that their actions, no matter how hidden, are crucial to the survival of the Imperium. In the course of their journey, the Knights-Errant reach a turning point, a moment when their struggle against the darkness of chaos transcends the individual missions they undertake. This pivotal phase emerges as their leader, Malcador the Sigillite, realizes that the heresy is accelerating beyond mere battles and alliances. He foresees a future where the integrity of the Imperium and perhaps even humanity itself, will be tested in ways no one has ever anticipated. For the Knights-Errant, this realization marks a profound shift from warriors of the Emperor's cause to guardians of the Imperium's very soul, a role that challenges them to confront the unyielding truth of their existence. This transformation is set in motion when Malcador calls upon his closest advisors and reveals a critical plan, one that will place the Knights-Errant at the heart of a mission with consequences reaching far beyond their current understanding. The Knights are to be prepared for an inevitable confrontation with the Chaos forces that have deeply rooted themselves in the galaxy. To ensure they can withstand the influence of the warp and its corrupting powers, Malcador commissions the development of specialized training regimes, weaponry, and technologies, each designed to enhance their mental and physical resilience. This endeavor, known only as the Sigillites' Trial, is intended to forge them into a force capable of facing down not only traitorous Astartes, but also the Dark Gods themselves if necessary. The trial is a grueling process, both physically and mentally. Each Knight-Errant is taken to a hidden fortress located on a bleak, isolated world, chosen specifically for its proximity to warp breaches and anomalies. Here they undergo exhaustive training designed to desensitize them to the horrors of chaos and to strengthen their resistance to psychic assaults. The tests force them to experience the darkest visions conjured by the warp, visions that would cripple or consume lesser souls. They must learn to see through these phantasms, to steel their minds against the corruption and whispers that constantly probe their defenses. By the end, the Knights are equipped not just with new skills, but with a renewed sense of purpose and a hardened resolve. They emerge from this trial as warriors who have not only resisted the lure of chaos, but who are now capable of wielding their understanding of its nature as a weapon. Armed with this newfound resilience, the Knights-Errant are dispatched to conduct operations of unparalleled risk, venturing into realms of chaos to carry out covert tasks that would shatter the sanity of any ordinary Astartes. One of the earliest such missions sees them entering the war-torn void around the Eye of Terror itself, tasked with retrieving vital intelligence on a new and unknown chaos cult that has emerged within the ranks of the traitor legions. This mission takes them through the unstable reaches of warp space, where they encounter not only the forces of chaos, but also bizarre anomalies and creatures shaped by the warp itself. The Knights-Errant navigate this twisted reality with determination, using their training to resist the illusions and psychological onslaughts of chaos. At one point, they are forced to confront a creature that is the embodiment of nightmares, an entity that has assumed the forms of their fallen brothers, each one a manifestation of the horrors the Knights have fought to overcome. This creature challenges them not in brute force, but by attempting to exploit their emotional vulnerabilities. Yet, strengthened by the Sigillites' Trial, they hold fast, banishing the entity and securing the intelligence they sought. Their resilience in this mission not only strengthens their own faith in their cause, but also cements their role as the Imperium's line of defense against the unseen. The intelligence retrieved in this mission reveals a disturbing truth. The cult they encountered is only a fraction of a larger network operating within the traitor legions. This network, comprised of sorcerers, warp priests, and prophets, is systematically establishing footholds within the Imperium. Each foothold, hidden among conquered worlds and the ruins of loyalist outposts, serves as a staging ground for demonic incursions and corrupt rituals. Malcador realizes the extent of this conspiracy and sets the Knights-Errant on a course to dismantle it, sending them on a series of missions across the galaxy to root out these cults before they can spread their influence any further. One of these operations leads them to a world that had once been an Imperial stronghold, but has since fallen to the forces of the warp. The entire planet has transformed into a place of perpetual darkness, its once thriving cities overtaken by eerie silence and whispers that seem to echo from the shadows. Here, the Knights-Errant locate one of the cult's high-ranking leaders, a chaos-worshipping prophet who has built an altar to the dark gods in the ruins of an imperial cathedral. The Knights know that if they are to weaken the network's influence, this altar must be destroyed, and the prophet eliminated. The assault on the cathedral is swift and brutal. The Knights-Errant move as one, each step a carefully calculated maneuver that drives them deeper into the heart of the temple. The cultists, though numerous and fanatical, are no match for the combined strength and expertise of the knights. They dispatch the guards with precision and confront the prophet, who, in his final moments, tries to invoke the powers of the warp. But his attempts are cut short, as the Knights-Errant, undeterred by his dark magics, bring down the altar, cutting off his connection to chaos and erasing his blasphemous influence from the planet. These missions, while essential to the safety of the Imperium, come at a high cost. Each encounter with chaos etches a new mark upon the Knights-Errant, testing their limits and straining their resilience. They are confronted with visions and temptations that challenge their very identities, memories from their past lives surfacing as the warp preys upon their vulnerabilities. And though they have resisted the lure of chaos thus far, they are reminded that even the strongest minds can falter in the presence of such insidious power. The Knights-Errant must now contend not only with the physical threats of their enemies, but also with the psychological toll that their mission inflicts upon them. Over time, the Knights-Errant come to understand that their mission has grown beyond simply striking down traitors or defeating cults. They are on a quest to safeguard the very fabric of reality, to prevent the taint of chaos from consuming the galaxy. As they continue their crusade, their loyalty to the Emperor becomes something greater than duty. It is a shield against the corruptive nature of the warp, a driving force that sustains them even as the darkness threatens to overwhelm. As Malcador observes the progression of his chosen warriors, he senses that the time is drawing near for the Knights-Errant to play their ultimate role in the Emperor's plans. They are no longer mere instruments of war. They have become symbols of resistance, each one a living testament to the strength of humanity's resolve. With each mission, they push back the shadows, their actions a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there are those who will fight to preserve the light. For the Knights-Errant, this period of intense conflict and growth is but the beginning. Their true purpose lies ahead, in battles yet to come, where they will face not only their former brothers, but forces that defy understanding and reshape the galaxy in their image. And as they prepare for these challenges, they do so knowing that their existence is a secret shared only with those who walk in the same shadows, a burden they carry with honor for the sake of an Imperium that may never know of their sacrifices. As the Knights-Errant grow in strength and reputation, their role in the broader conflict of the heresy becomes increasingly vital. With each mission, they gain knowledge and insight into the weaknesses of chaos and the forces that have betrayed the Emperor. Their impact is felt far and wide, though few are aware of their existence. Despite this secrecy, their missions leave tangible effects across the war-torn galaxy. Loyalist legions sense that a hidden hand is working behind the scenes to prevent chaos from gaining absolute dominance, while traitors occasionally find their efforts mysteriously thwarted. It is through these subtle yet powerful actions that the Knights-Errant solidify their place in the Imperium's shadow war. However, the Knights-Errant are about to face one of their most daunting challenges yet, a mission that tests their unity, resolve, and commitment to the Emperor's vision in ways they could never have anticipated. Word reaches Malcador of a powerful artifact of unimaginable destructive potential, rumored to be capable of rending the very fabric of reality. This artifact, known only as the etheric beacon, is said to draw warp entities to it with an insatiable hunger. In the wrong hands, the etheric beacon could spell disaster for the Imperium, unleashing the horrors of the warp into the heart of Imperial space. Malcador, realizing the stakes, dispatches the Knights-Errant to retrieve or, if necessary, destroy the beacon to prevent its use by the forces of chaos. The journey to the beacon's location is fraught with peril. The Knights-Errant must traverse a region of space known as the Shadow Nebula, a labyrinthine expanse riddled with spatial anomalies and warp storms that frequently disrupt navigation. Ships that enter the nebula are often never seen again, their crews driven mad or consumed by demons lurking within the warp rifts. For the Knights-Errant, this voyage is a test of endurance and mental fortitude. Cut off from the Imperium and surrounded by the eerie silence of the void, they prepare themselves for whatever awaits within the depths of the nebula. Upon reaching the nebula's heart, they locate the desolate world where the beacon is hidden. The planet is scarred and lifeless, its surface marred by ancient craters and ruins that hint at a civilization long since extinguished. The Knights-Errant disembark, wary of the strange energies emanating from the planet's core, where the beacon is rumored to lie. As they make their way toward the artifact's resting place, they encounter numerous hazards, from sudden warp fissures that tear open without warning to spectral apparitions that whisper promises of power and glory. Navigating these obstacles, the Knights-Errant finally reach the entrance to an ancient temple complex, its architecture warped and twisted by exposure to the warp. Inside, they encounter horrific signs of previous attempts to retrieve the beacon. Remains of explorers, cultists, and other would-be treasure hunters litter the corridors, their faces frozen in expressions of fear and agony. The halls echo with unearthly sounds, and shadows seem to move of their own accord. The Knights-Errant press forward with grim determination, knowing that to falter here would mean death, or worse. Deep within the temple, they discover the beacon encased in a massive obsidian altar, pulsating with a sickly greenish light. The air is thick with warp energy, making it difficult to focus or breathe. As they approach the beacon, a surge of chaotic energy washes over them, assailing their minds with visions of madness. Memories, real and fabricated, flash before their eyes, testing their mental fortitude. Despite the pressure, they steady themselves, knowing that they cannot allow the beacon's influence to weaken their resolve. But the beacon is not unguarded. As they near the artifact, they are confronted by an entity of terrifying power, a demon of Tzeentch, a manipulator and deceiver known only as the Shifting Whisper. This being has long resided within the nebula, drawn to the beacon's potent lure. It sees in the Knights-Errant an opportunity to sow chaos and discord, and it attempts to shatter their unity with insidious illusions and half-truths. The demon speaks to each of them in turn, conjuring painful memories and fears, hoping to divide them and force them to turn against one another. The Knights-Errant resist, each relying on the mental resilience they've developed under Malcador's guidance. United, they face down the Shifting Whisper, fighting not only with their weapons, but with their wills, refusing to allow its manipulations to take root. The demon, realizing it cannot break them, unleashes its full fury. A fierce battle ensues, one that pits the Knights-Errant's physical prowess and psychic strength against the warp-forged might of the Shifting Whisper. With skill and coordination honed over countless missions, they manage to strike down the creature, banishing it back to the Imperium. With the Guardian defeated, they turn their attention back to the beacon. They understand that destroying it is the only way to prevent it from falling into enemy hands. However, the beacon's energies are unlike anything they have encountered before. Attempting to destroy it outright could tear a hole in reality, opening a permanent rift to the warp. After much deliberation, they decide to collapse the temple upon the beacon, sealing it beneath layers of rubble and arcane wards that will contain its influence. As the temple walls begin to crumble, they make their escape, leaving the beacon buried beneath the planet's surface, lost to time and hidden from those who would seek to use its powers. The return journey from the nebula is solemn. Though they succeeded in their mission, the cost weighs heavily upon them. Each Knight-Errant knows that their encounter with the beacon has left an indelible mark, a reminder of the ever-present threat posed by chaos. They have glimpsed the horrors that await, should chaos ever gain the upper hand, and this knowledge steels their resolve even further. For the Knights-Errant, this mission has reinforced the importance of their role in the Emperor's plans, as well as the burden that comes with it. They are more than warriors. They are guardians of the Imperium's most perilous secrets, tasked with facing down the horrors that even the legions dare not confront. As they reach the safety of Imperial space, they are greeted with silence. Their mission is, as always, classified, its details known only to Malcador and a select few within his inner circle. The galaxy will never know the threat they have averted, nor the sacrifices they made to prevent chaos from unleashing yet another terror upon humanity. But the Knights-Errant need no recognition or reward. Their loyalty is to a cause greater than themselves, and their purpose transcends glory or renown. In the aftermath of the mission, Malcador calls upon each knight individually, delving into their experiences, analyzing their thoughts and fears, and strengthening their resolve. Through these private encounters, he ensures that they remain unwavering, each warrior understanding not only the stakes of their mission, but the faith placed in them by the Emperor himself. In the silence of these moments, Malcador imparts to them a deeper understanding of their path, an insight into the future that waits beyond the fires of the heresy. As the Knights-Errant delve deeper into the hidden wars of the Imperium, they begin to harness specialized technologies and tactics that set them apart from conventional Astartes. In an era where traditional battlefield strategies are insufficient to counter the insidious influence of chaos, the Knights-Errant adopt unconventional tools, ancient artifacts, and forbidden knowledge to turn the tide. Malcador himself, with access to the most obscure lore in the Imperium, guides the development and acquisition of these assets, often drawing upon relics and technologies that predate even the Great Crusade. One of the most critical pieces of equipment granted to the Knights-Errant is the Sigillite Shard, a small, intricately carved talisman that Malcador provides each member. Fashioned from rare materials that disrupt warp energies, these shards act as personal wards, shielding the knights from many of the chaotic influences they encounter. Each shard is unique, attuned to the individual's psychic or physical characteristics, reinforcing their inner resilience and offering a subtle but potent defense against the powers of chaos. With these, the Knights-Errant gain an edge in battle, able to resist corrupting influences that would otherwise overwhelm even the strongest Astartes. Their armor, too, undergoes modifications to meet the specific challenges they face. Traditional Astartes power armor is refined with subtle yet powerful upgrades, enhancing the wearer's ability to blend into shadow, resist psychic attacks, and withstand corrosive energies. In the armor's joints and seals, a unique alloy is used, one that dulls the scent of the warp, rendering the Knights-Errant less detectable to entities that can sense the life force of mortals. This enhancement allows them to operate undetected even in the proximity of demon forces, providing a critical advantage when stealth is essential. The weapons they wield are similarly adapted. In addition to bolters and chainswords, the Knights-Errant are armed with arcane tools crafted by some of the most skilled artificers within the Imperium. Among these weapons are the spectral blades, forged with fragments of wraithbone, an ancient material harvested from the bones of Aeldari craft worlds. These blades vibrate with a subtle psychic resonance, allowing them to cut through not only armor and flesh, but also the essence of entities from the warp. Though difficult to wield, the spectral blade proves invaluable against demonic foes, severing their connection to the Immaterium and making their banishment swift and permanent. In missions requiring psychic sensitivity, the Knights also employ the Helm of the Seer, a modified visor integrated with psychoreactive crystals that enhances perception of warp fluctuations. This device allows them to detect and analyze psychic phenomena from a distance, pinpointing the source of sorcerous energy or the presence of a warp rift. Those Knights-Errant gifted in psychic abilities can use the Helm of the Seer to amplify their powers in battle, turning their minds into potent weapons against enemy Psykers. However, the helm is dangerous to the untrained, and only those thoroughly prepared are permitted to wear it in active missions. While their equipment is vital, the Knights-Errant's tactics are perhaps their most potent tool. Rather than adhering to the rigid doctrines of the Astartes, They use adaptive and fluid strategies, able to shift between direct assault and stealth operations as needed. Infiltration and misdirection are central to their approach, especially in missions where overt force would attract unwanted attention. They have perfected the art of sabotage, employing tactics that destabilize enemy infrastructure, cut supply lines, and disrupt communication. They strike not at the heart of the enemy's forces, but at the key points that sustain them, gradually unraveling their influence from within. On occasion, they employ deception as a weapon. When tasked with dismantling a chaos cult deeply entrenched in a hive city, the Knights-Errant create an elaborate network of misinformation, seeding rumors and false reports that drive the cultists to paranoia and infighting. By manipulating the cultists' own mistrust, they avoid the need for a bloody confrontation, allowing the enemy to consume itself. This psychological warfare, subtle yet devastating, has become one of their defining tactics. The Knights understand that their true enemies are not merely flesh and bone, but deeply rooted ideologies, corruptive beliefs that must be dismantled just as much as any physical foe. The Knights-Errant also work in tandem with advanced reconnaissance servitors and drones modified to detect traces of warp energy. These devices, rare and highly specialized, are linked to a data relay known as the Silent Vox, which transmits only in psychic wavelengths. Using these drones, the Knights-Errant are able to navigate even the most treacherous of warp-infested locations with increased precision. The Silent Vox's data feedback provides real-time information about enemy movements and environmental hazards, enabling the Knights-Errant to move swiftly and decisively, often without the need for verbal communication. In extreme cases, the Knights-Errant are authorized to use relics of forbidden technology, artifacts that tap into energies barely understood, even by the adeptus mechanicus. One such artifact, known as the Time's Echo, allows them a brief glimpse into possible futures, a psychic insight that can help them anticipate enemy actions seconds before they unfold. However, the Time's Echo is unreliable and taxing on the mind, and thus it is used only when the mission's stakes are at their highest. The artifact's very presence highlights the unique position of the Knights-Errant, who operate outside conventional boundaries, given leeway to use items that would otherwise be deemed heretical in the Imperium's strict doctrines. Underpinning these advancements is Malcador's influence. His personal understanding of forbidden lore and his network of contacts across the Imperium grant the Knights-Errant access to resources unavailable to any other force. From secret archives on Terra to hidden workshops in the deepest reaches of the Segmentum Solar, he ensures that the Knights are always equipped for the challenges they face. Malcador does not see this as merely providing them with weapons. He considers each tool a means to sharpen their minds, fostering adaptability and teaching them to think beyond the rigid confines of Imperial doctrine. Through these unique technologies and unorthodox tactics, the Knights-Errant forge a path unlike any other in the Imperium. They are neither mere soldiers nor simple agents of war. They are a versatile and resilient force, prepared to meet the insidious and unpredictable threats of the heresy with equal parts innovation and ruthlessness. Their mastery of these tools and methods reflects their commitment not just to survive, but to prevail against the darkness that seeks to consume the galaxy. As they continue their journey, they carry with them the weight of knowledge, of the tools, techniques, and artifacts that, while empowering, also draw them deeper into the mysteries of the warp and the ever-present danger of corruption. For the Knights-Errant, every mission is a calculated risk, a test of their endurance and ingenuity against foes that defy the natural order. And though few will ever see the tools they wield or the strategies they employ, the impact of their actions echoes across the Imperium, preserving the Emperor's vision one clandestine operation at a time. As the Knights-Errant continue their relentless campaign across the Imperium, their ranks swell with legendary figures who bring distinct talents, histories, and perspectives. These are warriors shaped by countless battles, tempered by the hardships of betrayal and the weight of secret loyalties. Together, They form a brotherhood bound not by blood or legion, but by an unyielding commitment to the Emperor's vision and the guiding influence of Malcador. In their midst, certain individuals emerge as heroes, each one embodying the core of the Knights-Errant's ideals and spirit, while others, driven by ambition or haunted by dark pasts, come dangerously close to the line between ally and adversary. One such figure is Ianid Teal, a former officer of the Ultramarines whose tactical brilliance is matched only by his audacious willingness to challenge authority. Thiel's journey to the Knights-Errant is marked by defiance. He openly questioned the rigidity of Ultramarine doctrines, leading to strained relations with his superiors. Yet, it is precisely this willingness to think independently that catches Malcador's attention. Thiel becomes a tactical asset for the Knights-Errant, offering strategic insights and innovative approaches to warfare that prove invaluable in unpredictable battlefields. His methods, often unconventional and unorthodox, reflect the fluid and adaptive nature of the Knights, pushing them to be as versatile as their enemies are ruthless. Another pivotal figure is Janus, a Psyker of exceptional power and discipline whose talents lie not only in raw psychic might, but in his unparalleled control over his abilities. Unlike many Psykers who teeter on the edge of corruption, Janus has a unique understanding of the psychic realm, treating it as a tool rather than a source of power. His presence within the Knights-Errant provides them with a potent weapon against the warp and its entities, making him a key member in operations that require psychic resilience and skill. But Janus's power also brings a subtle tension, as the potential for danger is ever present. His ability to navigate the warp is invaluable, yet it also serves as a reminder of the constant vigilance needed to avoid the allure of chaos. In the shadow of such figures stands Moro, a former captain from the Death Guard whose fall from grace is mired in bitterness and resentment. Though brought into the Knights-Errant for his experience and unrelenting ferocity in battle, Moro's commitment to their mission remains a subject of scrutiny. His loyalty, while never overtly questioned, is tinged with a sense of isolation. He is a man at odds with his own past, driven by a desire to prove himself, but harboring a darkness that hints at his turbulent history. The bond between Moro and his comrades is strained, yet Malcador, ever the strategist, sees potential in even the most flawed characters, believing that redemption and loyalty may be forged in the fires of shared purpose. Each of these knights, with their unique talents and complex personalities, shapes the identity of the group as they face ever greater challenges. Their cohesion is not born of shared background, but forged in the intensity of their missions, each operation revealing new facets of their strengths and weaknesses. When tasked with hunting down a rogue Alpha Legion cell suspected of orchestrating a rebellion on a critical Agri world, the Knights-Errant must rely on both Thiel's strategic acumen and Janus's psychic insights to unravel the web of deception spun by the elusive Traitor Legion. The operation unfolds as a test of patience and precision. Thiel devises a layered plan, carefully studying the Alpha Legion's movements and setting up ambushes that isolate their forces. Meanwhile, Janus uses his psychic abilities to detect hidden threats and sense disturbances in the warp that betray the presence of Alpha Legion operatives. The Knights-Errant move in silence, their every step calculated, their every action deliberate. In the end, they dismantle the rebellion cell, cutting off the Alpha Legion's influence and restoring order to the Agri world. It is a victory won not by brute force, but by intellect, patience, and cohesion. The growing ranks of the Knights-Errant also introduce a measure of unpredictability. As more warriors join from diverse backgrounds and legions, conflicts arise over philosophies and methods. While some favor a rigid code of conduct, others advocate for a flexible approach, arguing that the Knights must adapt to survive the galaxy's shifting alliances and threats. This divergence in viewpoints is particularly evident when they encounter a band of renegade Astartes who claim to have renounced chaos yet refuse to swear fealty to the Emperor. The Knights are divided. Some believe these renegades might be allies, potential assets in the struggle against the Traitor Legions, Others see them as heretics, deserving of only swift retribution. To resolve the dispute, Malcador intervenes, reminding the Knights-Errant of the mission's ultimate purpose. He urges them to look beyond their personal loyalties and embrace the flexibility that has come to define their existence. It is this adaptability, he explains, that sets them apart from the loyalist and traitor legions alike. Their mission is not to enforce loyalty or punish heresy indiscriminately, but to safeguard the Imperium's future by whatever means necessary. In the end, the renegade Astartes are allowed to leave, their fate left to the uncertainty of the galaxy, a testament to the difficult choices that define the Knights-Errant. Within their ranks, the Knights continue to balance the divergent motivations and hidden scars of their members. Despite their victories, each mission chips away at their humanity, drawing them closer to a state of perpetual vigilance against both external and internal threats. They know that the greatest danger may not always be the enemies they face, but the seeds of mistrust and division that could grow within. Yet they press forward, each member bound by an understanding that while they may differ in perspective, their loyalty to Malcador and the Emperor remains absolute. Through these challenges, the Knights-Errant solidify their identity as a brotherhood of outcasts, warriors united by the belief that only by forsaking the rigid structures of their past can they truly safeguard the Imperium's future. In the face of the impossible, they draw strength from one another, each relying on the unique strengths of their comrades to offset their own weaknesses. And in this unity, they find a purpose that transcends individual glory, forging a legacy that, though hidden, will leave its mark upon the galaxy. They may never be celebrated or acknowledged by the Imperium they protect, yet the Knights-Errant accept this anonymity as the price of their freedom and their role as the Emperor's unseen hand. Their loyalty to each other and their commitment to the mission bind them to an existence without fame or recognition, yet they are driven by a shared resolve to serve as guardians of humanity against the darkness, even if their sacrifices remain forever hidden. As the Knights-Errant press on, they find themselves drawn ever deeper into the secrets and mysteries that pervade the Imperium. Their missions reveal layers of intrigue, betrayal, and ancient knowledge hidden even from the highest ranks of the Astartes. Among these enigmatic discoveries are hints of long-buried truths about the Emperor himself, the origins of chaos, and the nature of humanity's place in the galaxy. For the Knights-Errant, the line between their duty and their understanding of reality becomes increasingly blurred as they are forced to confront questions that have haunted the Imperium since its inception. During one such mission, the Knights-Errant are dispatched to a remote and forbidden archive world known as Solus Prime. Located on the edge of Imperial space, Solus Prime is a planet shrouded in secrecy, rumored to hold texts and artifacts from humanity's distant past. Only a handful of scholars and high-ranking Imperial officials know of its existence, and it is guarded by a detachment of the Silent Sisters, whose anti-psychic aura ensures that no one can delve into the arcane mysteries hidden within without express permission from the highest authorities on Terra. The Knights-Errant are tasked with investigating the disappearance of an Adeptus Mechanicus delegation, one that had been dispatched to Solus Prime to retrieve a highly classified piece of information. However, upon arrival, the delegation lost all contact, and the Silent Sisters who had been stationed there have mysteriously vanished as well. Malcador sends the Knights to uncover what happened and, if possible, to secure the data that the Mechanicus had been pursuing. There is no margin for error. Malcador stresses that what they find on Solus Prime could reshape the Imperium's very understanding of the past, and that under no circumstances should the knowledge fall into the hands of chaos. Landing on the silent surface of Solus Prime, the Knights-Errant find the planet abandoned, its once bustling archive facilities now cold and lifeless. Signs of struggle litter the halls, but there are no bodies, only echoes and broken machinery. Moving through the dimly lit corridors, the Knights-Errant feel a disquieting presence, a sensation of being watched by something not entirely of this world. The silence is oppressive, broken only by the occasional flicker of dormant servo skulls drifting aimlessly through the archive's massive halls. As they delve deeper, they encounter fragments of data logs left by the missing Mechanicus team, detailing their work and their final moments. The logs speak of an artifact known as the Oblivion Codex, a tome of ancient human origin containing knowledge that predates even the Emperor's rise. The Codex, according to legend, holds records of humanity's first encounters with the warp and its earliest attempts to harness its powers. The Knights-Errant realized that the Mechanicus had come to Solus Prime to retrieve the Codex, but something had gone terribly wrong, something that defied even the expertise of the Silent Sisters. The Knights-Errant press on, uncovering increasingly disturbing signs of what had transpired. The Mechanicus logs describe an event known as the Great Unbinding, a term suggesting that their actions had triggered a psychic breach. This breach had summoned entities from the warp, leading to the disappearance of both the Mechanicus and the Silent Sisters. Following the trail of data, the Knights reach a chamber containing the shattered remains of containment devices and psi dampeners, their protections shattered from within. It is here that they encounter the lingering remnants of the entities, the shadows of demons that appear only as fleeting shapes, watching them from the edges of the light. In the center of the chamber lies the Oblivion Codex, its binding cracked and pages scorched. As they approach, the Knights are struck by an overwhelming sense of dread, a psychic resonance that pulses with both allure and warning. The Codex seems to call out to them, offering glimpses of forgotten secrets, urging them to open its pages and see the truths it holds. But even as they reach for it, the shadows in the room coalesce, manifesting into a wraith-like creature born from the Codex's dark influence, a specter of knowledge and insanity given form. The Knights-Errant engage the entity, their weapons tearing into its incorporeal shape as it howls in rage, filling their minds with fragments of ancient languages and warped memories. The creature is more than just a demon. It is a fragment of the Codex itself, bound to protect its secrets and ensure that none may claim its knowledge unprepared. The Knights hold their ground, refusing to yield to the allure of the forbidden knowledge, and with coordinated precision, they manage to disperse the specter, weakening its hold on the physical realm. With the creature banished, the Knights-Errant gather around the Codex, each of them feeling the weight of the decision they must make. The Codex holds knowledge that could be invaluable to their war against chaos, perhaps even providing insights into the very nature of the warp. Yet, they are all too aware of the dangers that such knowledge presents. After a lengthy debate, they decide to secure the Codex, binding it with wards and seals to prevent its influence from escaping. Before departing Solus Prime, they destroy the remnants of the data left by the Mechanicus team, ensuring that no trace of the Codex's existence remains on the archive world. With the Codex safely contained, they return to Malcador, who alone can determine its fate. In their debriefing, Malcador commends them for their restraint and reminds them that the line between knowledge and corruption is thinner than they may realize. He orders the Codex placed in the most secure vault on Terra, its secrets to remain hidden until such time as the Emperor deems them necessary. Though the mission is a success, the experience leaves a lingering impact on the Knights-Errant. They have witnessed firsthand the dangers of the Imperium's forgotten lore, and they understand that there are some truths that even the most resilient minds should not pursue. This encounter with the Codex becomes a turning point, a sobering reminder of the complexity and peril of their mission. For while they are tasked with safeguarding humanity, they must also guard themselves from the allure of the very secrets they uncover. As the final days of the Horus heresy approach, the Knights-Errant find themselves burdened with a mission of unprecedented consequence, one that may determine the fate of the Imperium. Malcador summons the highest-ranking members of the Knights, entrusting them with a secret that shakes even their battle-hardened resolve. The Emperor, locked in conflict with Horus's traitor legions, requires a fortress, a bastion that will hold against the inevitable onslaught that looms ever closer. That fortress will be Terra, and the Emperor's seat will be its heart. Malcador instructs the Knights to prepare for a series of tasks to secure Terra's defenses, each one delicate and perilous. This mission, he explains, will not merely involve bolstering the planet's fortifications or ensuring supplies. It requires something far deeper and more insidious: the unmasking of traitors embedded within the Imperium's own ranks, agents of chaos who have infiltrated the highest echelons of Imperial command. These double agents have worked tirelessly to erode the Imperium from within, and it falls to the Knights-Errant to uproot them before the final siege begins. The Knights move quickly, their forces splintering into smaller cells to carry out the purge. Using information provided by Malcador, they locate the hidden nests of heretical influence embedded in Terra's sprawling bureaucracy, noble houses, and even within elements of the military. The Knights are methodical, moving in silence to eliminate each conspirator, leaving no trace of their presence. To the outside world, these disappearances are unexplained and sudden, rumors spreading that the Emperor's wrath has begun to cleanse Terra from within. Yet the truth remains hidden, known only to the Knights-Errant and their enigmatic patron. Among the most dangerous of these infiltrations is a network led by a former Imperial noble who has secretly pledged his loyalty to the War Master. This individual, now a heretic in all but name, has gathered a coterie of chaos sympathizers, each one positioned strategically to disrupt Terra's defense efforts. The noble has constructed an underground sanctuary on Terra itself, where he and his followers conduct rites that undermine the psychic barriers protecting the Emperor's palace. The Knights-Errant infiltrate this sanctum, descending through labyrinthine passages to reach the core of the heretical gathering. They witness the cultists' final ritual, a dark mass that seeks to weaken Terra's defenses and offer a beacon to the forces of chaos when they arrive. The Knights-Errant, revealing themselves in the heart of the ceremony, strike with unmatched precision. Their assault is swift and decisive, each movement honed from years of fighting the shadows. They silence the cultists before they can complete their rites, severing the thread of chaos before it can take hold. As the last heretic falls, the Knights destroy the sanctuary, collapsing its walls and sealing any trace of the cult's dark influence. Their actions ensure that the defenders of Terra will stand firm, free from the invisible web of corruption that had begun to tighten around them. Even as they rid Terra of these traitorous elements, the Knights-Errant are forced to confront another, more harrowing task: protecting the Emperor's plans for the future of humanity. This involves the creation of the Imperium's most secretive and formidable warriors, the Greyknights. Though the Emperor's legions fight for the present, it is the Greyknights who will defend humanity's soul for millennia to come, an elite brotherhood crafted specifically to combat the demonic forces of chaos. Malcador entrusts the Knights-Errant with the solemn duty of selecting and preparing the first initiates of this sacred order, warriors whose loyalty and resilience must be beyond question. This task requires the Knights-Errant to seek out Astartes who possess an unbreakable will, individuals who have faced the darkness and emerged untainted. These chosen few must be willing to abandon their past identities, severing all ties to their former legions and swearing themselves to a cause that will forever remain hidden. The Knights-Errant travel to the far reaches of the galaxy to locate such candidates, evaluating each one with an intensity and rigor that leaves no room for doubt. Only the most resolute, those whose hearts are untouched by pride or corruption, are selected to join this new brotherhood. For the Knights-Errant, this task is both an honor and a burden, as they witness the transformation of their chosen recruits, knowing they will bear the torch long after the heresy has ended. As the siege of Terra draws near, the Knights-Errant prepare for their final role in the Emperor's grand strategy. Some are dispatched to infiltrate the enemy's ranks one last time, gathering crucial intelligence on the War Master's plans and his most dangerous lieutenants. Disguised and embedded within traitor forces, they risk their lives to relay information back to the Emperor's forces, aware that any mistake will mean certain death. They shadow Horus's inner circle, uncovering secrets that even Malcador had not foreseen, insights that may grant Terra a fleeting advantage in the days to come. Other Knights-Errant are assigned to guard the Emperor's psychic sanctum, a hidden chamber where he channels his immense power to shield humanity from the ravages of the warp. Positioned as sentries in this final bastion, they are prepared to face any threat that dares breach Terra's last line of defense. For the Knights-Errant, this role is one of sacred trust, a chance to stand beside the Emperor himself in humanity's darkest hour. Their presence in the sanctum embodies the culmination of their journey, a transformation from lone warriors to an unbreakable shield that stands between humanity and annihilation. As the first ships of Horus's fleet arrive in orbit, the Knights-Errant take up their positions across Terra, each warrior ready to fulfill their purpose to the very end. From the shadows, they observe as the traitor legions descend, their numbers vast and their fury unchecked. The siege begins in earnest, with the forces of chaos throwing themselves against Terra's defenses in wave after wave of brutal assaults. Yet, unknown to the invaders, the Knights-Errant are poised at critical points across the battlefield, waiting for the precise moment to strike and turn the tide. Their actions are swift and unseen as they sabotage enemy artillery, assassinate key officers, and disrupt supply lines, forcing Horus's forces to falter just as they seem poised to break through Terra's defenses. In the chaos, the Knights-Errant are relentless, their movements guided by a determination that has been tempered through years of preparation. They know that their fight is not just for Terra, but for the survival of humanity itself, a cause worth any sacrifice. As the siege rages, Malcador sends a final message to the Knights-Errant, expressing his pride and gratitude for their service. In this message, he reveals that their actions will shape the future in ways they may never see, and that the legacy of their sacrifices will be carried forward by those who fight in the Emperor's name. He reminds them that their anonymity is their strength, that their role as protectors of the unseen will continue long after they have passed into legend. In the final hours of the battle, the Knights-Errant hold the line with unwavering courage, defending Terra against the darkness with every ounce of strength they possess. They fight not for recognition, nor for personal glory, but for the Emperor's vision, a galaxy where humanity stands united against chaos, a vision they have come to understand as worth any cost. As the walls of Terra shake and the skies burn, the Knights-Errant stand as silent sentinels, their presence felt in every corner of the battlefield, a last bastion of resistance against the horrors that threaten to engulf all. When the final blow falls and the heresy reaches its fateful conclusion, the Knights-Errant vanish into the annals of history, their deeds unrecorded, their names unknown. Yet, their legacy endures in the resilience of the Imperium, in the strength of those who continue the fight against chaos. They are a whispered legend, a hidden force that sacrificed everything to protect humanity's future, leaving behind only the faintest traces of their existence. In the vast and unforgiving expanse of the galaxy, the Knights-Errant remain immortalized not in statues or scrolls, but in the spirit of those who resist, those who continue to hold the line in the Emperor's name.